Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well and welcome new subscribers. So I just want to quickly say, in case I forget, if you like this video, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up, and that lets me know that you support me and my channel, and also it helps YouTube pick up my video and pushes it in the algorithm, so I can be seen more and people can find my channel. So that is a way that you can help me grow my channel. As I mentioned in the video before, I will be promoting and putting money into my channel sometime after Christmas. Just check my mics on because you know how these things go sometimes. And this channel now is 4 or 5 months old. I can't remember, guys. Many of you know I had a previous channel which would be just over 3 years old now. And I had quite a few subscribers, and it's not about numbers, because if it was about numbers, trust me, I would have put money into this channel, at the beginning, and just, yeah, basically got a lot more subscribers than what I've got already. But for a lot of new channels, I say new, I'm not new to this, but in the very early beginning stages, it's a little bit slow for a lot of us to get our channel off the ground. And so when we put money into our channel, like I say, YouTube really pushes our channel out there, pushes our content out there again, so people can see us and subscribe. So anyway, now I've got that out of the way. Excuse me if I'm not giving much eye contact. I have got the ring light on. I am very sensitive to light, and I've probably got red eyes as well. I've been staring at the screens quite a lot today. So yeah, it's just I thought, well, I've done a video already. It should be up now. In fact, it will be. So I thought, I'll share with you, a couple of experiences, some of my little missions, if you will. I don't know which particular group sent me on this job, on this mission, because as I've said before, I am part of, I know MI5. That was, in fact, the first group, that name of individuals, group, organisation, whatever you want to call them. That was the first name that I got from my higher self. Many of you might know, I've been abducted, taken since I was a child by extraterrestrials. I've been taken aboard and been amongst positive beings. I have been taken from my body in the astral form, physical consciousness. I've been taken against my free will by negative extraterrestrials. Also, as well as I believe, because I am a Milab, that some of these soldiers or even reptilians disguise themselves as negative extraterrestrials, because that's what they do. They like to put the blame on them, and they've got technology to do that. They've got mind control to project into your mind how it is they want you to see them, as well as they can mess with your memories. So when all that happens, it kind of does make things a little bit tricky. So I just share what I know, what I remember, what visions I get, dreams, because many of you know, a lot of our subconscious or suppressed, oppressed memories, or memories that have been messed with, whatever word you want to put on that, they can get blocked or they can get pushed right to the back of our mind. And many of us can go years and never ever know about these memories. But if you are a lucid dreamer, a vivid dreamer, if you have OBEs, out of body experiences, have a lot of astral experiences, then, a lot of us can retrieve memories. So memories can play out as if they were dreams, but they're not dreams, guys. Yes, dreams are real. Yes, our subconscious plays out in dreams. But, you kind of, as you progress in your spiritual awakening and tap into your abilities, you start to distinguish what is just, say, dreams and what is memories. So, and again, memories can come in many forms. I could be sat in front of the TV and I could be watching something, and it will trigger a word, a scene, a phrase, anything, especially if you're a Milab, Many others have altars, and many of you know that, they use symbols, they use imagery, they use sounds and frequencies and tones. And these are like trigger words to bring certain altars through. And I've experienced that if, for instance, watching a movie, something, a scene, a word, something in that movie, or something in what someone is saying can trigger, it causes me to dissociate, zone out, and then it's like I'm not there. I'm in the room physically, but consciously I'm elsewhere. And I'm not always aware I'm gone until I come round. And so what I see in my mind, it's like a video, a real-time video playing out. So, that is another way that memories can come through. And or visions again, dreams. There's many ways that our memories can come through. So yes, I was taken by these military groups. I didn't have a name for them in the beginning. I just knew it was the same old theme. It was I will be sighing quite a lot today, guys, in this video. I'm very heavy in the chest today. I feel like there's a bit of energy manipulation also in my throat. But yeah, all I knew that was from a young age that I was being taken, I had experiences, okay, and I perceived them as dreams. And sometimes I was confused because I knew they were real, but I was in bed, but I felt drugged and I felt groggy, and there was some memories there, but not all there. And the one off, you just think, oh, that was a strange, wild, very vivid, real time dream. And of course, then, these things happen again and again and again. It's the same theme: drugged, feeling groggy, being taken from my bed, or I'm being dragged down corridors. In the only way to explain it, in some like, white walls, bright lights, clinic type building. And there's always military men or military personnel, and a doctor of some kind, someone wearing a lab coat. Oftentimes there are, as I mentioned many times, but this is for the new guys and new subscribers, there's interrogation, there's altercations. I think that's not the right word. There's like, attacking me, manipulating me, getting me to sign contracts, give me ultimatums. That was the word. Things of that nature, promising things to me if I do this. And I have unfortunately signed contracts, but when I've been under the influence of mind control or substance, some kind of drug, LSD or something, on that line. So of course, I wasn't, I've signed the contracts through manipulation, and contracts that I have dissolved. Not all of them. Some of them have been dissolved. Some of them have been revoked. However, there still are contracts because of the fact they actually manipulated me only, was it last year or the year before? I can't remember, to do another 10 years with them, again, through manipulation, through clever words, making you think one thing and really they mean another thing, and then it's too late, you've signed the contract, you've agreed type thing. So very manipulative. So like I say, I've had these experiences, over and over and over again. I'd wake up from dreams, except for I'm feeling heavily drugged, taking me days to get over the effects of drugs. I don't do drugs, I don't drink alcohol, I don't do any of that. Back in the day, granted, yes, I used to, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like, I'd just been drinking and had this experience, or done drugs and had this experience. It wasn't like that. I was always very, my system was very clear of that. Sometimes you wake up with marks. In fact, I'll include some photos I've got. I haven't included them yet. Just marks, peculiar shaped bruises and puncture marks, and sometimes blood on the pillow, and things of that nature. And it was scary. And I knew it was real. I knew I was being taken. I couldn't speak to anyone about it because they would think I was crazy. And so I just put it to the back of my mind and continued with life. But then these more things would happen and more things would happen. And then I had an experience where a man appeared in my bedroom. Long story short, turned out to be a reptilian, masked himself as a human, took advantage of me, if you know what I mean. I've got that story time on my video, and this was in waking state, and just seeing these types of shapeshifters. I didn't have a name for them at the time. All throughout my life, I've been taunted, haunted, messed with. They're in my family. Again, I couldn't put names to them. It was only till years much later I saw an image of a reptilian. Oh my God. And when I did, I was like, holy beep. Those were the motherfuckers, excuse my French, that had been taking me. So again, my memories were coming through thick and fast, memories that I suppressed a long time ago. And one day out the blue, after having a traumatic experience, I said to myself, I don't know why I didn't ask sooner. I guess I wasn't ready. And I said to my higher self, because my higher self had introduced herself to me. We are the same being. She's just my higher self. Goes by the name of Genesis. I don't believe that is her real name. I think that's a cover name. But anyway, introduced herself to me through telepathy years ago, 3 days straight telepathy. And basically that was the starting point of my starseed awakening. I had my spiritual awakening. I understood a little bit about that. But this is when I had my starseed awakening, and that was a whole process in itself. But anyway, I said to my higher self, okay, I'm ready now to know the truth. Who's been taking me? And that's when I saw in my mind's eye, in black letters, MI5, as well as hearing Genesis' voice, which is completely different from mine, say MI5. And of course, I've heard of MI6. I haven't really heard, hadn't heard of MI5, maybe once. But at the time, I was like, MI5, MI5. I was like, well, I know MI6. Anyway, I went on Google, MI5, call me naive at the time, but are working alongside. They do work with the MI6 as well. So, of course, finding that information out, I was just like, of course, military, underground bases, military personnel. I'm seeing weapons. I'm seeing, all these types of things in all of my experiences. And then I started to slowly realize that, oh my God, I'm a Milab. And this wasn't someone told me. This wasn't something I read. That the reading part, more information about it, came much later after realizing I was a Milab. And how did I know I was a Milab? Well, I was asking my higher self questions, signs, the universe to guide me. And so I would see synchronicity. I would bump into people that had the same experiences. I would see more of these beings whilst being out, seeing them, kind of in half their form, in half human form. All this stuff still continued. Being stalked, being followed, being surveillanced, having weird things in my room and stuff like that. And then again, finally I realized, oh my God, I am a Milab. And so, like I say, the Milab side, meaning realizing I am a Milab, is fairly new. So, I'm not like Mrs. Know-It-All. I know there's a lot of people out there that are very up to speed with a lot of things. I know the basics, but still I'm here to share my experience. So where do I go from there? So yeah, I just wanted to quickly just put it out there for people that don't know what my channel is about. I will be changing the name of my channel soon. This will be the 4th time and the last time. Milab Gone Rogue. I loved it, and I still think it's a great name. But I was just pondering today, in the shower, thinking about my channel. And the thing is, it's like, I want a name that, I want to name my channel something that reflects me, everything about me and my experiences, all of my experiences. And the thing is, I've always struggled to find a perfect name, because I'm not just a Milab. I've not just had this experience. I'm not just a starseed. I've not just had that and this and that experience. It's I'm not in one category. Whereas usually a lot of star seeds are. There's a lot of star seeds that are not Milabs. There's a lot of Milabs that are not star seeds. So, I have had and have Milab experiences. But it's not just that, sometimes I'll get taken up on the ships, by positive beings, and I'll meet up with family. Sometimes I'll have beings in my room, positive beings. Sometimes I'll have supernatural experiences and paranormal experiences and weird visions and premonitions. And, so there's that psychic element as well. So I needed a name that reflects all of that. And anyway, so I was in the shower. I asked my higher self, kind of, my mind was just clear. I was just bathing in the water, clearing my energy, which water often does. And I heard the word, what was it? Bear with, guys. Reaching for truth, or reaching for the truth. And I was like, I had a light bulb moment, and I was like, oh my God, that is a brilliant name. Maybe I should have that for my channel. Maybe that was my higher self trying to say, because, I've been thinking about the name of my channel for a little while, as I mentioned, and, it's kind of, Milab, just the Milab itself, it doesn't cover all my other experiences, if that's the right way of explaining it. Like I say, I needed something that reflects all the types of experiences. Anyway, so I was like, I really like that. And then I was trying to tweak and change things. So let me just get my book. So like I say, it was reaching for truth or reaching for the truth. And then I was like, what about the reach for truth? And then that sat with me for a little while, and I was like, it's too long. I want something short, sweet, powerful, and self-explanatory. And so I shortened it, and I've decided to name my channel Reach for Truth. So this light behind me I will have to replace. So it will be Welcome to Reach for Truth. And then underneath it will be, I can't remember what I chose when I ordered it, Now is the time to speak your truth. Something on the lines of that. And, so like I say, that will be the last and final time I'll change the name, because I think it's brilliant, because that's what we're all doing. We're all in our spiritual awakening, and we are all, seeking for truth. We're seeking for answers and reaching for the truth in however way that may look, through our experiences, through things we read, through other people's information, through from inside ourselves, from outside of ourselves. People look for answers outside of themselves, inside of themselves. For me, of course, with me having my experiences, I really want the truth, to not just the Milab side of things, but the reality of nature and what's going on this planet. And, and so that's what happens, isn't it? You start to question reality at the very early stages of your spiritual awakening, and you kind of go down your own little rabbit holes, or you go inward and you start questioning reality, start questioning the things. And the thing is, it's very hard, because the more you dig, you often find that you're left with more questions rather than answers. So, it's kind of never ending. But, as we progress and move forward and start to unravel the veil and the matrix, the illusions, and start breaking through and seeing things and reality for what it is, we want to dig deeper, right? We want to start asking even more questions. So the asking never stops. But anyway, reach for the truth, reach for truth. I like it. You guys might not like it, but you know what? I just think I'm really happy with it. And that's it. Like I say, that's why we're here. Reach for the truth. We're reaching for the truth. But anyway, I've gone with reach for truth just to keep it short. So yeah. So at some point, you'll see my channel, and it will be called Reach for Truth, and you'll be like, I don't remember subscribing to that. Who's that? It's me, Milab gone rogue. Now, will be Reach for Truth. So yeah, I'll do a post as well, because probably people might unsubscribe be thinking, I didn't subscribe to this person. But anyway, it's me, guys. So anyway, now I've got that out of the way. Yeah, I want to share with you, and it just might be just random things. I will do a full video on itself without rambling on about anything else, and I'll do a video sharing, my bigger experiences. Those ones where I remember from start to finish, like every detail. They deserve a video on their own, but I will do a video. It will be like it'll be called compilations of Milab memories, something on the lines of that. So I'll do that as well, and that'll just be like me sharing bits of memories, and I'll share them because you never know, you might have had similar, you might be able to help me out, like, oh, that memory sounds like this, or it reminds me of that person who I saw on that channel and they said it was it. It's kind of how we work together, guys, isn't it? Like I say, I'm no expert, but I am piecing together the puzzles as best as I can. And but like I say, going back to what I was saying earlier, so MI5 is just one of the groups. I think they were one of the earliest ones that took me, which makes sense, right? Because I'm British, I'm in England, you know. Obviously a lot of reptilian in the mix as well. And then of course MI6 as well have had their hands on me, possibly Earth Alliance or the White Hats, which I'll get into. I'll save that story time for the compilation video. But yeah, and the Secret Space Program as well. So just because to me it's obvious, because I'm doing off-world missions as well. I'm going into alternate realities. I'm quite literally quantum jumping, timeline jumping, and we can all do that anyway. But for these organisations, these groups, they deliberately timeline jumpers or projectile consciousness and things like that. And I'll get into that in another day. But anyway, yeah, let's get into it, Zoe, because we're 22 minutes in, 22. Maybe I'll look that one up. So, yeah, this one involves celebrities or the elites, whatever you want to call them. So, yeah, a lot of my experiences do involve celebrities. And this is why, guys, I've been putting off and dragging my feet in the sand for ages. And I know my channel is only 5 months old, 4 or 5 months old. I've shared quite a lot of videos, really, considering it's fairly new. But I've been putting off a lot of my memories because they involve celebrities. I don't know why, guys. I know I'm not the only Milab that have celebrities in their experiences. And we need to stop using the word celebrities, because they're not celebrities, okay? They are people, okay? Some bad, some good. We need to stop putting them on a pedestal and thinking we're down here and they're up there. I just want to mention as well, which I have before, Milabs. We are normal people. We live normal families. We have normal jobs. We are musicians. We are in Hollywood. We are in governmental systems. What else? So, we're here, there, and everywhere, especially celebrities. You will be surprised on the amount of celebrities that are Milabs. A lot of them are in the Monarch program, right? CIA Monarch program. The whole one eye, the whole butterfly and all that. Sexualizing their music, the whole symbology, symbols in their music, and casting spells using harmful frequencies and hidden messages. I've listened to songs, specific songs, and I've always heard on these specific songs, on the specific tracks, I've heard like voices in the background, and I've got fairly strong hearing, always have been like that. And I was like, what is that? And I just tuned in, and I couldn't work out the words, but there were definitely something underneath that track. Casting spells, perhaps, I don't know, chanting. There was something, and I didn't like it. Put me off, and so that I don't listen to these particular songs. And you have to be careful, of course, And I'm not saying all these celebrities are bad, but the majority of them are, whether they know it or not, many of them willingly, wanted to be controlled by the Illuminati. And, obviously we know about the Illuminati. They approach these people, these vulnerable people, or people that are just like full of ego, want to be famous, and they know someone who knows a guy, or this guy knows this group, and it kind of happens. It can happen very slowly, or these people that want to be famous, they go straight to kind of like those that run the Illuminati, whatever, and do deals, quite literally do deals, and then overnight they are famous. So what, there are those that willingly participate in these rituals, willingly agree, yeah, okay, I'll put this in my music, I don't know, I'll go ahead with this, agenda and whatnot, I don't care, I just want to be rich, I just want to have all the riches and the money, and then, of course, there are groups of celebrities that were kind of coerced, manipulated, blackmailed, and there's no way out. The only way they can go is up, because if they try and get out, they will get, suicided and stuff like that. So, it's not black or white. Again, it's very complex. There's many reasons why these celebrities are under the thumb of the Illuminati, and the Illuminati really is tiny. It's just there's bigger energies, bigger entities, groups that are doing far more worse, nefarious things. The Illuminati in the whole of all of that. It's just they've got their area, and they're just whatever, using these celebrities as puppets to MK Ultra the masses, mind control the masses, distract the masses, be cool, be popular, and often people go around, like for instance these Labubu dolls, right? It started off with the celebrities, they're very demonic. They pray, they do rituals over these things, and then these things go crazy, and people are like, oh, I've got to get the Labubu dolls. I've got to get this handbag. I've got to get, these handbags, that are made oftentimes with human material, I'm just going to say. And, and these celebrities are walking around parading these bags, supermodels, and then, people are buying all this. And it's all bad. It's all bad energy. It's all satanic ritual, a load of crap, So that's the Illuminati. And obviously, Illuminati is much more than that, but I don't want to dive too deep into that because that's not why I'm here today. But anyway, my point is, my labs are, everywhere. And, a lot of, in fact, the majority of my labs, whether you are famous or not, are unaware that they are in these programs, hence the mind control, hence the erasing memories. We weren't supposed to remember, but we are remembering. We are having dreams and visions and videos playing in our minds, and we're getting triggered. And, as I mentioned before, there's many ways that we can get our memories. And so I've been putting it off because it's one thing, isn't they, saying you're a starseed, and then I'm in my lab, and then all of a sudden I'm uploading videos of all these experiences I've had with celebrities. Yeah, I even met King Charles. That was pretty dark. But a lot of the time with these celebrity experiences is how can I explain? I'm like a double agent, if you like. So, they're under the impression, they believe that I am helping them, I'm on their side, I'm, being at certain parties and things like that, but really I'm not. I'm there. Well, I'm there, but I'm there for other reasons. Kind of like surveillancing things, spying, collecting intel, getting information. I don't always remember because my memories are erased. I don't always remember exactly why I'm there, like meaning what specific information or intel am I supposed to be getting. So I'm assuming that I'm in these particular emissions that I am working for, as many of you know, the White Hat. I don't know. I have trouble trusting any group down here, but I do know there are positive groups down here. I do know we're not alone, and there are groups working behind the scenes. I do know that much because I am part of that. So, but why do I not get all my memories with certain experiences like that? I guess it makes sense. Even the good guys erase our memories or suppress them because to protect us. Well, they know I've got a YouTube channel. I can't sit here and tell you the very nature or specific details or intel I'm collecting because I am monitored, I am surveillanced, I am rigged up to my arse with implants. And yeah, so that makes sense, okay? So I don't always understand. What is always very clear is I know when I'm under mind control because I break out of it, or I'm kind of like semi in it, semi out of it, or just because they think I'm going along with it and really I'm not, type thing. There's something else that I was going to say as well. So it's like I'm only allowed to know so much from the good guys, even though I hate saying that's very cliche. But the positive guys, if you like, whatever names you want to call them. I don't know, white hats. I don't know. But yeah, there's only so much that I can share. They want me to remember enough so I can share this information with you, even if it's just enough to. I know I don't have evidence, guys, but even if it's just enough for you to just walk away and think for yourself and perhaps try and do your own research, go down some rabbit holes and find some information about some things that I'm going to share with you, because there is a whole protection element to this as well. Like I say, I can't be sat here and giving all the and know and remember all the information, because the whole point of these missions is very very secretive on both the positive and the negative side, of course, because if I share it, then the negative side's going to know, the nefarious groups that have got their hands on me. Now they are aware that I am a double agent. They are aware, but they still use me. They still use me. They still take and mess my memories. In fact, I need to get on board and start sharing my experiences very soon, guys, because this version of me, I'm very multifaceted, lots of personalities, if you like, alters, not in the DID sense, alters, but nevertheless, but still the same, just not as apparent as the DID. And that's another reason in itself, because Milab alters, we're not supposed to know each one of us exists, okay? Because we're all programmed, we're all differently, we're all in different groups being used for different things, okay? And if we can't start communicating and we start sharing memories and things, so but that's what's happening. We are sharing memories, but still, this version of me, my memories are not that great. And so I need to start getting my information out there, start sharing my stories, and it's there then, and save the videos, back them up on storage as well. So in case if anything ever happens to this channel, I've got them as well. And it's good to keep my memories fresh, because my memories have been messed with, guys, in the past, to the point where I've remembered nothing. I've gone from remembering everything to nothing, to then them slowly coming back, and then that memory would trigger this memory, and this memory would trigger that memory, and that's kind of how it is. It's like a reawakening every time. So yeah, like I said, I do need to get on board with that. So yeah, like I say, we have to be careful. It is really yeah, I just don't understand. There's a lot of Milabs that are in PsyOps, whether they know it or not, and they reveal a little bit too much information, which doesn't make sense to me, because they're a Milab, right? These groups are going to know what they're doing. But anyway, I don't want to get into that either. So yeah, I'm going to share with you an experience I had that involves the elites. And of course, it's up to you what you want to believe. Like I say, I have been putting off for a long time. As I mentioned, it's I don't know why. like I say, I'm not the only one at my lab that has had memories and experiences with celebrities, but I've had a lot, guys. Yeah, both positive and negative experiences. But I'm just gonna, fuck it. I'm just gonna share it. I mean, I already look insane enough as it is. What the heck, right? Whatever. It's my memories. It's my truth. It's my experience, and maybe people in the future might be able to wrap their head around it a bit more. I don't know. We'll see. But it is what it is. It's part of my experiences. Anyway, let's get into it because I think my battery is on low. Let me just quickly check, guys. I can't. So hopefully my phone doesn't go dead. Okay, it's a very short one. Okay, so again, in this particular memory, I don't know who sent me out on this particular mission. I'm assuming it's got to be the secret space program, who I don't trust, by the way. Or I don't know, some kind of black hats group that go by God knows what name. But anyway, I'll leave it for you to decide, guys. So I'm on the ship. I'm on this huge craft. It's definitely not. Well, I guess it is extraterrestrial, but it's a lot of human elements, meaning it was either back engineered or reverse engineered. And I know that because just the way the ship moves, the way it propels, if that's the right word, the way it maneuvers. So pure off-world ships that have had no human no humans touching it. They're very smooth, very, very, very smooth. They could be spinning, they could be rolling around in the sky, shooting across the sky. You wouldn't feel it, guys. I know, because I've been on them many times. You don't feel it. You do not. It's almost still. You feel no gravitational pull, no force. There's no G force, whatever you want to call it. It's just still. I can't say that for all of the ships. It depends on the types of ships, depending on the types of beings and groups they belong to. But the ships I've been on, you don't feel it. You really don't. It's so surreal. It's almost like you're still, but it's the universe, it's space that's moving around you. It's so bizarre, which suits me fine because I suffer with a lot of anxiety naturally in my personal life and, of course, in these experiences. So I'm much better on these, extraterrestrial ships than I am with the human reverse back engineered ships. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of force sometimes. Anyway, so I'll just explain, what I saw. First of all, my uniform. It was very similar to like Black Ops type uniform. I don't remember wearing a hat or a helmet in this particular experience, but I remember feeling very padded. And I'm very sensitive to heat. Now, when you are wearing extraterrestrial uniforms and things like that, it adapts to you, your energy and your temperature. It regulates your temperature. And I naturally struggle with self-regulating my temperature. Very sensitive to the cold. I'm extremely sensitive to the heat. And I just remember feeling very hot, feeling very uncomfortable, and it was just very, very padded. And I'm pretty sure it was all black. Yeah, typical Black Ops, padded. So I'm standing, it's almost like a pillar or a post in this ship, kind of like just around the edges. Because I remember looking to my right, and which was very interesting because the first thing that I saw on the floor was checkerboards. Interesting. We know that the elites use the checkerboard and a lot of things. Well, I'm not going to get into that, many of you know. So it was huge. It looked like a little dance floor. It was all checkerboards. And around the edges of the ship, there were seats and there were straps, if you like, some kind of safety straps. And I remember just standing, feeling very uncomfortable in this uniform, looking out at these celebrities, and they were like, as they are, these elites, we've got champagne. They looked like they were all dressed, ready to go to the Met Gala. It kind of reminded me something of the Hunger Games, not quite that extreme, but you can kind of get the image. Which are very strange for them being on a ship, but whatever. They are very out of touch with realities. Many of they're very much in their own little, la la land. Whatever. That's celebrities, elites for you, the rich. Anyway, and they're chatting away, having a good old time. They were excited. I don't remember. We were basically, I say we. I didn't see anyone else. I didn't see. It was just me and these celebrities. Usually they pair us up, or we're in a small team, but I don't remember I was, seeing anyone else. This was a solo mission, which is not unusual because a lot of the time I do prefer to do solo missions anyway. I don't prefer to do any missions, but because they know in my personal life I'm very private, I like to do things on my own because I'm just naturally that way. So it's not surprising that in some of these missions, I am solo. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I am partnered up with another female and sometimes with another male. And in fact, someone who I know and I've met in my personal life. I may share that another time. So anyway, yeah, they're, having a whale of a time. They're like all happy, excited. And I'm like, I didn't know in this experience, because this is the thing, they send you out on these missions. They don't tell you, I guess it's none of my business. They don't tell you, oh, by the way, you're taking these to, I don't know, they're going to this place because they're doing this and that. That's none of my business. They don't tell me that. Like I say, they do mess and erase memories. But in this particular experience, like, I remember it like that. I had no clue. I just knew that, I had to help get them from wherever we got them from. I say we a lot, guys, because it's not because my pronouns are we, they, them, but I just want to say I say we sometimes because it's more than me, myself, and I in this body, as again alters very lots of versions of me in this body. So I just knew that we were on the ship, we were taking them from somewhere, taking them to another place. I have no memory of I didn't get off the ship. My sole purpose was to be on the ship and to just watch them. I'm sure there's a bit more in there because, of course, there must be memories of me actually getting onto the ship and getting back, but that memory isn't there. Like I say, I only remember what I remember. But I just remember looking at them, and I just remember just like I don't look up to celebrities. I don't put them on a pedestal. I don't. I know they're not all bad, but yeah, I just don't. I don't want to be a part of that. So I got the impression that, oh, here we go again. I don't like those types of experiences, and I remember standing there just looking at them, just like feeling sick. Like, ugh, who are these people? Like, they're monsters. They were horrible. They didn't acknowledge me. I might as well have just been invisible. Was I there to protect them? Was I there to just ensure that they got there safely to wherever it was we was taking them? Was I just there to be there just in case anything went wrong? I just knew I had to watch them all the time and not take my eyes off them. And so anyway, so the ship starts speeding up. I'm feeling it immediately. I got very anxious, and I was borderline having a panic attack, which is me through and through. I have travel anxiety naturally anyway, something I am trying to overcome. So yeah, being on a ship, and not a positive one, was not a great experience. But I had to control myself, slow my breathing down, try and regulate my temperature as best as I could. And really, all I wanted to do is just rip this uniform off me and just escape, but I couldn't. Anyway, so the elites, they buckled in. Well, before the ship really took off, they buckled in. I watched them all sit around the outside. Like I say, as I mentioned earlier, they strapped themselves up. And there was, a bit of shaking in the ship and stuff like that. Like I say, and we were just like, and all of a sudden, because originally there was like I just saw darkness, and then when looking out, because there were windows as well, by the way, guys, there were windows all the way around, and I could see it was fast, and I could see, all these stars just flying past, and I just remember holding on, and I'm just like this, extremely nervous, and then once the ship slowed down, and it was just um, still flying, of course, but it was kind of just kind of like in the air. Excuse me, guys. It kind of felt like it was suspended at times. Anyway, these elites, they unbuckled themselves, got up and continued doing what it was they were doing, laughing, drinking and all that. And I needed to go to the restroom, even though we're not supposed to. But anyway, I did. They weren't paying any attention to me. And so me being me, oh no, my phone's going to die. The sound quality might be different now. I had to unplug my mic so I could put my phone charger in, because my phone battery was drained and I was suddenly on 5%, even though I did charge my phone before I did this video. But anyway, where was I? Me, being a rebel. I don't stick to rules. Never have, never will. I don't care what I'm doing. Often in my missions, I do wander off. I'm very curious. I like to know things. But anyway, I decided to walk around the ship, and I was looking for somewhere to go to the toilet. And I was looking around, and the doors were not like you'd see on the normal, I say normal, what is normal? There's many types of ships, of course. But usually on these off-world ships, the doors, you don't usually see them. They're usually very flush. There's no outline. They're just either not there, or it's just wall and these doorways appear. That's how advanced they are. But these ships, the ship that I was on, it had doors, not like doors you would see in homes and stuff, of course, but they were apparent that they had, there were doors and there was a handle. And, I was opening them, and, some of the rooms were just, there was nothing there. It was just darkness. Shut the door. And then there was a door next to that room, and it was a larger room. And I remember this clear as day. I opened the door, and I'm going to explain now everything that I saw. So in front of me, I saw, it must have been about, I don't know, I'm not good with sizes and measures, but, it was a fairly large room. And it was like marble flooring, and to the right of me there was this metal shower head attached to the wall with this weird little drain on the floor. To the left of me there were side units and cupboards, and then a little bit further in front of the side units to the left there was a desk. On the desk there was drawers and paperwork, pens and things like that. Around the sides there were like, it kind of looked like there were what do you call it, like test tubes, medical equipment, stainless steel looking utensils, if you like, equipment and things like that. There was a computer. In front of me at the back to the left there was a cage, and this was quite sad to see, but in the cage there was, I think, I'm pretty sure it was a female chimpanzee, and she was in this small cage, and she had got her babies, and she was feeding her babies, and I was just looking and thinking, what on earth are they doing with this chimpanzee? Why is this chimpanzee there? I really don't know. See, like I say, guys, I don't always understand these memories. But, this room, it was kind of like a testing room, a office. There was a a shower head on the wall. There was white overalls. The floors were white marble. So something was, that room was obviously used for something. And I remember looking at the shower, which was very strange, thinking, oh, I could do with a shower. But then I remember thinking, not that I would anyway, but I remember thinking, oh God, no, I wouldn't. Can you imagine? I don't even know what water that is, or even if it was safe to use. I'm just sharing that, guys. That's kind of what went through my head, but that's just my mind. Typically, anyway, that's how I am. And what else? Make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh yeah, of course. So I come out of that room, I enter another room, and this room, it kind of looked like a lounge room. It looked very comfortable. There were like seats that were like material, like a sofa type looking seat. It just seemed a lot more cozy and comfortable, not like what I saw with these celebrities. It was very cold, very bare. Like I say, the floor was the black and white checker floor, seats around the edges and stuff like that. Oh, and there was music playing as well, guys. I remember there was some kind of music playing. Yeah, they were having a whale of a time. I don't know, where was we taking them? Was we escorting them off the planet? I'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, so I'm in this room, knowing that I shouldn't be in there. As I'm about to leave, I see this female approach me, very tall, blonde-haired, and I immediately recognised her, and it was Paris Hilton. Yeah, Paris Hilton. Now, was it Paris Hilton, or was it a screen, like a screen memory, like a hologram wanted me to believe it was Paris Hilton, and really it was someone else? I never thought about that. I should have done, because they do that. Anyway, so I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, I was speaking to Paris Hilton. She recognised me. She'd been watching me. She told me that, she said that my energy felt very, she's talking a lot about energy, saying that my energy felt really good, and she felt sorry for me, and she wanted to speak to me. She said she knows that, we're not meant to, we're not allowed, but she wanted to. She liked me. She was very friendly, told me to sit on the sofa. And we had a few minutes just talking and stuff like that. Now, whoever it was I was speaking to, she seemed lovely. She didn't seem like the rest. She seemed a bit more, I don't know, more heart open, more like, I don't know, considerate, if that's the right word. She didn't seem like the rest. She seemed out of place. And so... yeah, what else was it? So clearly, one of the families that I did recognise was the Hiltons. Obviously, Paris Hilton, her family is her dad. He owns the Hilton hotels. Very rich, made a lot of money, and he's an elite, and they are involved with certain higher ups and other elites and things like that. And they're not innocent, of course. Now, I'm not saying, Paris Hilton, if it was really Paris Hilton, I'm not saying that she is innocent. She is a victim. She has been through a lot, but she's not clean either. I just want to say that. So now that's all I remember of that experience. And now I'm going to share with you my thoughts or theories or what I believe. So it did really feel like Paris Hilton. I haven't met her, like in my personal life, of course. I'm familiar with her energy because, I've seen her energy. I've watched The Odd Thing years ago, some things she used to be in and stuff, like I'm familiar with her. Again, I just want to mention, I'm not a Paris Hilton fan. I'm not obsessed with her. I'm not obsessed with any of them. I don't watch anything. I'm not that person that sits and watches reality shows or the Kardashians or, and all that. Years ago, of course, I watched The Odd Thing, but yeah, that was many years ago. So yeah. So of course, I have these experiences, and I'm left with questions. Like it infuriates me. I'm like, Why was I there? What was the purpose? Why were they excited? Where are we taking them? You know, all I can do is kind of sit into that energy and try and use my discernment as best as I can. And like I said before, guys, I'm not always 100% spot on. You know, I'm working this shit out as much as you guys when it comes to my abilities, you know, and things like that. So yeah. I shared this on my old channel, and I remember at the time, you know, sharing my thoughts and feelings on what it was we were doing. So I'm just going to share that with you guys. But the impression that I got was I was ordered to help assist them into getting to clearly a completely different planet, and what we see down here, like the Paris Hilton down here, is not the real Paris Hilton, or the Hiltons is not the real Hiltons, it's their clones. And you wouldn't know to look at them that they were clones, depending on how much money they want to spend on their clones, of course. Many of them spend a lot of money on their clones, and you wouldn't even know that this person, that clone, was a clone. And but like I say, again, that was at the time, that was my understanding at the time when sharing that was what the impression I got, that we were taking them. It was some kind of deal, and they had to leave the planet. And so I'm surely I wasn't the only one. There must have been more than me there, you know. Of course, someone was flying the ship for one. And yeah, it was a big ship. I didn't get a chance to walk all around. So I'm assuming there must have been other people there like me, you know. So yeah, like I say, the impression I got was, you know, they were taken off. There was some kind of contract involved. You know, it's time basically, you got to leave the planet. You know, they didn't want to leave initially. There were some talks. There were you know, things of that nature, and we just kind of took them elsewhere. That was kind of what I was sharing at the time. But now I don't really feel like that. Was it just a road trip? Was it a little elite rich day out? I don't know. Who knows? We know that there are celebrities, elites. They you know, they do have the money to go on these ships. There's not just these thousands of pounds jets that they have and get from A to B, which is ridiculous. You know, they have the money to go on these ships and to go to wherever it is they want to go. So I feel more on the lines it was that. But yeah, like I say, there were a lot of elites there. The Hiltons were there. But many of you know as well that, you know, the ones that are here that are involved and part of these many agendas, the New World Order and, you know, the Illuminati, you know, these groups, these people that have done bad to infants and to people and are very egotistical and service to self, and many of them have got their hands dirty. You know, a lot of them are into satanic rituals and things like this. You know, I do believe some of them have left the planet either through force, through some kind of contract deal, or just because they just want to go. They just want to go. I don't know. But what I do know is that a lot of the celebrities have been replaced, and what we are seeing is their clones. And in fact, in the future, we're going to start to see people, celebrities, singers, actors, you know, anyone that's popular, rich, the elites. We're going to start to see some of them looking not like themselves. And that's because the originals have either been taken elsewhere or executed, or just because they've left. And what we're going to see in replace is their clones, or not even clones. It will be like lookalikes and things like that. So that alone, in fact, we're already seeing it. We're already seeing some of these celebrities looking a bit weird, but we're going to see it more. We're going to start seeing big stars overnight looking completely different to the point where it's going to be obvious, even to the normal person, that is not so and so, you know, that is not, I don't know, Celine Dion, or that is not Trump, or whatever, you know. So people are going to start questioning things a lot more. So yeah, I wish I had I wish I knew fully. I wish, but I know that I can't. You know, I can't because yeah, if I was allowed to know, then I would remember, wouldn't I? And I can only share with you my theories and my feelings and things like that on some of these experiences. And as always, you know, use your own discernment. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and I guess I'll leave it with you guys. You let me know what you think. I just want to make sure I haven't missed any more details on that. So yeah, I think that's it, guys, on that. So, you know, that's one of my little missions. I will be sharing more eventually. You know, my ego has a hard time with wanting to share these types of things, but yeah. But anyway, guys, if you like this video, show your support, give me a thumbs up. If you want, leave a nice friendly comment. And if you really, really want, subscribe and share. And I will speak to you all in a new upload.